video glue. This
just like not
this
a Ryan
isn't suggestive.
Ryan amount of size. What Ryan sized amount of glue?
It's like
That's not suggestive.
it's not suggestive at all.
Hello everybody. So today we're going to be creating a wood plant stand. So we just have some scrap wood here that's about 16 inches by 14 inches. So I'm drawing out some lines to make two separate pieces so that we can cut it in half and cut off the sides that are not straight, because when we cut this piece of wood, obviously it was not straight. And then I'm going to design the plant stand afterwards, so you can see that I'm like measuring out all of the pieces here, and if you stick around you'll get to see what the plant stand looks like in the end. So I've measured the piece to be half, and then what I'm doing is I'm measuring it down about 2 inches to create a cutout for the actual plant stand to sit in. And then you want to measure in from the side a certain number of inches, and then you want to measure down from the top a certain amount of inches, because that's what you're going to cut out for the plant to sit in. Now we're doing this plant stand in 2 pieces so that they sit kind of like an X when they sit together, so you're going to cut out notches for them to sit in together and be level. So this is my inspiration here.
Do not. I was like, do not pull it towards you.
How not to cut wood 101.
So after we cut the 2 pieces in half, I'm just measuring to make sure that they're the exact same size in order to create that X shape when you want to put the plant stand together. And then I'm going to mark the center of each piece that you're going to cut out the bottom part of, because earlier I had marked out the top notch that you're going to cut out in the wood, and now we're going to mark out the center so that we can make a rounded spot for the bottom that will make like a nice architectural detail. So as a beginner of creating a plant stand, we actually struggled with the bottom cutout piece a lot because we were creating a rounded end, but the shape and the long narrowness of the rectangle that we were cutting the piece of wood or the plant stand out of kind of created a little bit of a problem for us. So what we ended up doing is we put the 2 pieces and the 2 bottom ends together to create the square again, and then we took a paint can and we just used that as the bottom shape. And you'll see that it does work out in the end because we do taper the sides, but our original plan was not to do this, and it was to make it a little bit more of a casual curve than like a straight paint can curve. You'll see the paint can curve and you'll kind of see why we did it that way. So we lined them up and we found the center point, and then we tried it with the string method, and then that didn't work out, so we did use a paint can, because you can see the way that we have it marked out, the curve should go from corner to corner of those pencil lines, and that makes it more of an arch than like a very straight like circle. And so you can just see like we're struggling with it a little bit. We're trying to figure out what we want to get done, and then we would bring in the paint can, and that's when we decide that this is the better option for us, and it does look really nice in the end. Maybe plan this out a little bit better if you are doing it our way. Thankfully, we have a lot of tools to use at this shop that we're working at, and we were just using this to cut the straight lines to be able to make a good curve for when we use the jigsaw, and this actually worked out pretty good. But we did, in the end, the other piece that we cut out, we used the jigsaw to cut the straight lines and then make the curve with, once we cut out the straight lines. It just makes the curve a little bit nicer and more smooth. And then when you go to sand it, it's more of a curve than a straight line. So you can use whatever you have there if you're making a curve like we did. I would say probably the jigsaw is easier to use, but you do want to cut these straight lines in it so that the pieces fall off gradually, so that when you're turning the jigsaw, it works out a little bit nicer.
This. Just need some clamps, yo. I like these little baby ones. How do I guess I'll cut this piece first. I'm just going to cut in on it. I'm going to cut this, actually.
So we have to find the center of each piece. The top part where the rectangular is cut out, and the bottom part where the circle is cut out, one on either piece, because when you go to put it together as an X, the notches have to be in the different places to be able to slide them down into each other. So that's what I'm just figuring out now. You've got to find the middle of each piece, and then you have to do the thickness of the wood that you're cutting out to be able to slide it into place so that it sits nicely as a plant stand.
Cutting that big?
What?
Oh, you putting like a piece, a square piece between all of them? Or?
What do you mean between all of them? This is the notch, so they can sit together.
Okay, it's kind of wide though.
Well, 2 inches. It's the same on both. This is the bottom. This is not the top.
Okay, shouldn't it only be 1 inch wide though? Like just enough for the
And then it
thickness of the board?
goes, oh, I guess. I was just measuring it out 2 inches. And then, yeah, you're right. And then it will sit like that. And then we'll figure out the sides after, I guess. You're right.
Otherwise it wouldn't be tight.
Yeah, it should be the thickness
Maybe
of
you
the
should
board.
do
Did you 1/2 inch each side of this? And then you can sand it a little bit if it needs to be cut more. We'll
Is
sand
that
it.
an inch? That's not an inch. That's
No.
That's like
3/4.
3/4 maybe.
Oh yeah, like
3/4.
yeah. So do like
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if that's straight though.
It's not. That's I'm also tired. Oh, Jesus.
We had to put a little bit of a splint in the one side to make this straight and level. Once we put the two pieces together, they did not match exactly, unfortunately. So for us, it was a little bit too big, and it was moving around a little bit. So we just had like a sliver of wood that we stuck in there and glued and hammered down just to make it stay where it was supposed to stay. And then we added wood filler on the sides to cover up any holes, and then we sanded that all off, and we ended up actually spray painting it black because it was just going in our house anyways, and it matched more with our aesthetic in the house.